This is a review over linear inequalities. First off, take a minute and see if you can figure out what symbols go up with these words. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. There we go. Equivalent. Your symbols should be the equal to. Less than, fewer than, goes like this, pointing to the left. Greater than or equal to. I'm sorry, not equal to. I just wrote the wrong ones on there. Let me fix that. I hope you caught that I shouldn't have the bar on there. Less than and greater than. These over here have the equal to bar on them. All right, here it wants us to graph the following inequalities. Pause the video, come back and see how you did. Right here we start at 3, and it's just less than. It does not have an equal to bar, so we will put an open circle. Less than, I will shade to the left. The next one, right here, it's at -1. It has an equal to bar, so I'm going to do a colored in circle. The greater than, it's pointing to the right, so I shade to the right. Here's another one, but this one doesn't have x by itself, so what we need to do first is solve for x. On each one of these, I would pause the video before each one and try it and make sure that you can do it first and come back and check. I would subtract 8 from each side. I get 3x is less than 15. Divide by 3. X is less than 5. So here at 5, I have an open circle and I shade to the left. Number 4, you should add 8 to each side, and I get x is greater than -1. So I have an open circle at -1 because there's not an equal to bar. The greater than points to the right. Here's the next one. Now in this case, we've got letters on both sides. What I would do is move my letters to the left-hand side. So I'm going to subtract 5n from each side. I get -3n minus 3, greater than or equal to 6. I am now going to add 3 to each side. I get -3n greater than or equal to 9. Now I'm going to divide by -3. Ding, 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 ding. When you divide by a negative, you must flip the sign. So it becomes less than or equal to. So n is less than or equal to -3. So here at -3, I put a closed in circle and I shade to the left. Here's the next one. First, what you would do, you're going to put your x's together, then put your numbers together that are on the left-hand side. So I'm going to have 7x minus 4x. That's 3x. Then I have 2 minus 1, which is 1, less than or equal to 10. I'm going to subtract 1 from each side. I get 3x is less than 9. Divide by 3. X is less than 3. So here, I'm going to have an open circle at 3. Less than, I'm going to point to the left. Next problem. We have the distributive property. So you're going to multiply 3 times x and 3 times -1. -3x plus 3 is greater than 9. Subtract 3 from each side. -3x is greater than 6. Divide by -3. Ding, 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 ding. I'm dividing by a negative, so I must flip the sign. It becomes less than. So I have x is less than -2. So at -2, I'm going to put an open circle. Less than, I'm going to shade to the left. Here's the next one, number 8. We're going to do the distributive property again. So I have 4n minus 8 greater than or equal to negative 12. I'm going to add 8 to each side. 4n is greater than or equal to negative 4. Divide by 4. Now I do not flip the sign because I'm not dividing by a negative. N is greater than or equal to negative 1. So I'll go here to negative 1. We're going to put a closed in circle because it's equal to, and we're going to shade to the left. I'm sorry, that's the right, to the right. Number 9, it wants us to write the inequality. I have x is more than 5. X is more than 5. And then they want us to graph it. There's the 5. It is an open circle. And shade to the right. Next one, Donna plans to run at least 10 miles around the neighborhood. X is greater than or equal to 10. So I start at 10 because it's equal to, I put a closed-in circle. At least means greater than or equal to 10. Next one, the weather forecast in Greenland states that the low will be negative 12 and the high will be negative 6. Okay, well I know that x is in the middle. The low is going to be negative 12. The high is going to be negative 6. My arrows, I'm going to point them to the left. Now it's going to have an equal to bar on there because it says the low will be 12 and the high is negative 6. So the way we graph this, we have negative 12, negative 6. We're going to put a closed-in circle on each dot, and we're going to shade in between. Next, in school, class lasts 48 to 52 minutes. Well, the smallest amount of minutes is 48. The largest is 52. So my arrows still point to the left, and it's going to have the equal to bars on there because it can be 48 and it can be 52. Oops, that's a 50, not a 52. Let me write this. So I'd have a closed-in circle, and you would shade in between. Number 13. Brian works for a lawn care company. He earns $6.50 per hour that he works. If Brian wants to earn more than, there's the important stuff right there, more than $400 this week, write an inequality used to represent it. So to write it, I know that he gets paid $6.50 per hour. He wants to earn more than $400. And there's your inequality. Be able to figure out how many hours he could work. Josh's family goes on vacation. They want us to write the inequality. They spend money at a constant rate of $150 per day. His family wants to spend no more than $650 in their trip. Okay, so we have $150 per day. No more than is less than or equal to 650. There's our inequality. Josh is downloading music for his MP3 player. He wants to have at least 20 songs. So X is greater than or equal to 20. Now, they have all these lines here. I have two options. What would be wrong if I put a colored in circle right there and I shaded to the right? Why is that not correct for what they're asking us for? I mean, yes, it's greater than, it's getting bigger. But the thing is, you're not going to go online and download and just pay for a half of a song. Like to download a song, it was $2. You're not just going to be able to pay 25 cents to download a quarter of the song. You're going to have to either download 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, or on up whole numbers of songs. The next one, Sarah drives a sports car. Her car can hold anywhere from 1 to 5 people comfortably. Write an inequality represent this situation. Well, first off, think about this. If I use the number line, it says you can hold 1 to 5, so I can hold 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 people. How come I didn't shade them all in? Well, I don't know anywhere where you're just going to have, well, okay, I'm hoping we're not going to take any in our car half of a body, half of a person. So it says only from 1 to 5 people. So X is between 1 and 5. Whoops, that's not a 5. There we go. And you have to put the equal to bars there because you can actually hold 1 and 5. And you put dots because you're not going to have a half of a person, 0.999 of a person. Here's the next one. At a local amusement park, the sign in the front of the wooden roller coaster says you must be at least 48 inches tall. At least is greater than or equal to. The only one with greater than or equal to is D. Number 18. Which of the following is not a solution? Well, it's a solution if it's in the shaded area. Okay, so is 1 in the shaded area? Yes, it's a solution because it wants to know not a solution. 2.5. 2.5 is in the shaded area. 16, yeah, 16 is way up here. -1, the open circle starts there, and an open circle means it does not equal. Number 19. One of the things we can look at before we ever start is this idea right here of greater than or equal to. If it's equal to, it's got to have a solid dot, a closed-in dot, so B is not going to be an answer. But we are going to have to solve to be able to figure this out. So I'm going to take 3 times x and 3 times -3. I get 3x minus 9 greater than or equal to -21. Add 9 to each side. 3x is greater than or equal to -12. Divide by 3. Am I dividing by a negative? No, so the signs stay the same. It's -4. It's greater than -4. So my answer would be C. Number 20. A sign at a local restaurant reads maximum occupancy 150 people. The inequality, it would be this one right here. P is less than or equal to 150. Graph the inequality on the number line below. Well, why am I not going to put a closed dot on 150 and draw a line this way? Because I'm graphing talking about people. Can you have a half of a person at the restaurant? No. When you're talking about people, it's going to have to be discrete data, meaning that you have a specific number of people, so you would put a dot. 21. The height on the bridge says the maximum height is 180 inches. The inequality could represent this as h is less than or equal to 180. Graph on the number line below. Be sure to label your number line appropriately. If I have 180 right here, if you're talking about height, talking about inches, you can have a half an inch, 0.9 of an inch. So I would put a closed dot on 180 because it says equal to, and I would shade to the left. But actually, if you really wanted to get technical, I would stop at a certain number. What number would that be? I would stop at 0 because you can't have any height that's at a negative. The next one, Bob has a babysitting service. His client Mark asks him to babysit for him and wants to spend no more than $50. Bob's fee is $10 plus $4.50 per hour. To write the inequality, you have $10 plus $4.50 per hour. They wanted to use X for the number of hours. No more than means less than or equal to $50. Now we need to determine how long He will babysit. So we will subtract 10 from each side. I get 450x is less than or equal to 40. We're going to divide by 450. And we have x is less than or equal to, so take 40 divided by 450, and you should get 8.888. Okay, now if they go and it wants to know how many hours is he going to work, but the client doesn't want to spend any more than $50. So if I took $10 plus 450 times 8, how much is that for 8 hours? So we take 450 times 8 plus 10, and you're going to get $46. Well, what happens if he babysits for 9 hours? So let's try that one. Whoops, where'd my number? There we go. So we take 450 times 9 plus 10, and you get 50.5. Well, that's $50.50. That's too much. So your answer is going to be 8 hours. Okay, the next one, it says the total points in a football game when Terry scored 12 points and Derek scored 24 points is graphed below. Is graphed by. They want to know, is this true or false? Okay, right here it has a line that's saying that the total points in a football game when Terry scored 12 and Derek scored 24. Well, if they were on the same team, the smallest amount you would have is 36. So this cannot be right. This is false. It says if false, what situations could be used by this graph? We'll say that in this graph, maybe that the temperature was 12 degrees in the morning and was a high of 24 degrees. Oh, my pen's kind of not writing right. Okay. It could be that the height of the alligators was 12 inches to 24 inches. You could do something like that. It'd have to be something that was continuous, that could go with every decimal and fraction in between the two numbers. Next one. Jennifer's cell phone plan includes a $19.95 monthly fee and 20 cents per minute for the minutes used before 8 or 7 p.m. She has a budget of $60 to spend on her cell phone each month. Which inequality could be best determine M, the maximum number of minutes she could use before 7? Well, if her budget is $60, that means she's going to be less than or equal to 60. That is less than 60. Nope. That says greater than. That's not it. Here are two choices right here. Now, what's the difference between these two equations? The first one, you're subtracting. Do you pay a monthly fee and then subtract off 20 cents for each minute you use? Nope. They always like to tack on more money. So the answer should be D. Next one. Mary charges $30 an hour for math tutoring. She wants to earn at least $550 this month. What would be a reasonable number of hours she needs to tutor? You have $30 per hour. At least is greater than or equal to 550. Divide by 30 to solve it. So you get H is greater than or equal to, and you take 550 divided by 30. That would be 18.333. Well, if it's got to be greater than, what number is bigger, the next number bigger than 18? It would be C, 19. The next one, right here, graphing this, you're going to graph the y-intercept, -3. The slope is 1/4. That tells me to go up 1 to the right 4. So I start at my y-intercept. And I go up 1 to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. Up 1 to the right 1, 2, 3, 4. I can go backwards. Down 1 to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4. Down 1 to the left, 4. Now, do I use a dotted line or a solid line? It does not have an equal to bar, so you will use a dashed line. The next thing you have to figure out is where do you shade. This symbol right here is greater than. When it's greater than, you shade above. So you go to the line and you draw a line up. All of this area above the line is the greater than. Number 27. In this case, I can't graph it yet. I have to put it in y equals form. So I'd have to add 4 to each side. And I get x minus 2y greater than or equal to 4. Subtract x from each side. I get negative 2y greater than or equal to negative x plus 4. I'm going to divide by -2. Ding, 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 ding. I'm dividing by a negative. When you divide by a negative, the signs must switch. So I get y. This is 1/2 x minus 2. I'm going to go to -2 and put a dot. My slope is 1/2. Tells me to go up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2 and put a dot. Up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. Up 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the left 2. Down 1 to the left 2. Down 1 to the left 2. It has a solid line, an equal to line. As it says greater than or equal to, that means I'm going to graph with a solid boundary line. Now I need to figure out which side to shade on. It is less than. Remember, we divided by a negative, so it's less than. So you go to your line. Less than means shade below. So it's everything below that line. Number 28. It's already set up for us. I'm going to plot the y-intercept at 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, what is the slope? It just has an x. Well, that means that my slope is 1. That's a positive 1. Up 1 to the right 1. So I'll start on my y-intercept. Up 1 to the right 1 and put a dot. Up 1 to the right 1. I can also go backwards. Down 1 to the left 1. Down 1 to the left 1. Down 1 to the left 1. In this case, it says less than, so it's going to be a dashed line. Now I need to figure out where to shade. It is less than. That means to go down. So I go to my line and I shade below. So all of this below my line is shaded and is my solution. 29. I can't graph it the way it is. I have to solve for y. I'll have to subtract 3x from each side. I get 6y greater than or equal to negative 3x plus 12. Now I'm going to divide by 6. Oh, that 12 didn't come out very well. Pen kind of freaked out on me. There we go. Y is greater than or equal to negative 1/2 x. 12 divided by 6 is 2. So I'm going to put a dot on my y-intercept at 2. My slope is negative 1/2. Tells me to go down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2 and put a dot. Down 1 to the right 2 and put a dot. Down 1 to the right 2. Down 1 to the right 2. I can also go up 1 to the left 2 and go backwards. Now, for shading, for my line, it is an equal to bar. That means it is a solid line. So I will use a solid line. Everything on this boundary line is a solution. This is the greater than. Greater than means shade above. So everything that's above this line is a solution. 30. It's already in y equals form, so let's plot the y-intercept, -1. The slope is 2/3, tells me to go up 2 to the right 3. Up 1, 2 to the right 1, 2, 3, and put a dot. Up 2 to the right 1, 2, 3. Down 2 to the left 1, 2, 3. Down 2 to the left 3. It says less than. Less than means I need to use a dashed boundary line. Now because it's less than, it means to shade below. So it means I draw a line below the line. Everything below the line is a solution. Number 31. It's already in y equals form. I start with -4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Put a dot. My slope is 3. 3 over 1 tells me to go up 3 to the right 1. So I start here up at the y-intercept. Up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1 and put a dot. Up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1 and put a dot. Up 1, 2, 3 to the right 1 and put a dot. I can also go backwards. Down 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. Because it says equal to, it would be a solid boundary line. So I would use a solid line. Now, it says greater than, so that means you need to go above. So you start on your line, you draw your lines up. It's up, above, so all of this is a solution. Everything on the line is a solution too because it is a solid boundary line. Here's the next one. Circle all the points that would be a solution of y is greater than -3x plus 3. Put an x over all the points graph that would not be in the solution. So let's graph this first. Graph the y-intercept, 1, 2, 3. Then the slope, -3 over 1, down 3 to the right 1. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1 and put a dot. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1, put a dot. I can also go backwards. Up 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. Up 1, 2, 3 to the left 1. It says equal to. Since it's equal to, I'm going to use a solid line. Oh, my line kind of went crooked. It said to circle all the points that would be in the solution. Well, you had this one, I kind of covered it up, and this one, because it's a solid line, but now I need to figure out where to shade. It says greater than, so I shade everything above. So you would have circled this one, and this one it says put an X over the ones that were not. So an X would go right there. 33, same idea. So let's go and graph this. I'm going to go and graph -3, 1, 2, 3, and 2x, 2 over 1, up 2 to the right 1. Up 2 to the right 1, put a dot. Up 2 to the right 1. Up 2 to the right 1. I can also go down 2 to the left 1. Down 2 to the left 1. It is a solid, it's an equal to, so it's a solid line. So I'm just going to use my pen and try and draw this line as straight as I can. Oh, there we go. Kind of crazy. Everything on this line is a solution, and it says less than. So I go below the line. So it says to circle all the ones that would be in the solution. Circle, 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 circle. Put an X on the ones that are not. 34. Which of the following is equivalent to 10x minus 5y is greater than or equal to 20? Equivalent means equal to. Okay, so here, let's go through and solve. I'm going to have to subtract 10x from each side. I'm going to go down here a little bit. -5y greater than or equal to -10x plus 20. Divide by -5. Ding, 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 I forgot. I divided by a negative, so I have to flip the sign. Y is less than or equal to 2x minus 4. So my answer should be B right here. Here's the next one. They want us to fill in these blanks. Well, first off, what they're trying to get me to do is to solve for y. So it's the same thing like we did a minute ago. Subtract 10x from each side. I get 5y is greater than negative 10x minus 20. Divide by 5. Y is greater than negative 2x minus 4. So what you're putting in here is you're going to put the greater than symbol in that one and 4 right there. Number 35. Solve the inequality for y. And then it says it's the same as. So we're going to write this so it's y equals. So we're going to add x to each side. I get negative 2y plus 4 greater than or equal to x. I'm going to subtract 4 from each side. Negative 2y greater than or equal to x minus 4. Divide by negative 2. Ding, 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 ding. I'm dividing by a negative. Flip the sign. I get y is less than or equal to negative 1/2 x plus 2. The next one. Here's the next one. We want to solve for y again. I'm going to subtract 4x from each side. I get negative 2y plus 12 less than or equal to negative 4x. I'm now going to subtract 12 from each side. I get negative 2y less than or equal to negative 4x minus 12. Divide by negative 2. Ding, 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 ding. I divided by a negative, so I have to flip the sign. Y is greater than or equal to 2x plus 6. Next one. Okay, it wants us to determine the inequality that's shaded below, or over there to the right. Well, first off, I know that A and C cannot be an answer. Why is that? Well, A and C they don't have the equal to bar. See, this is a solid line, so it's got to have the equal to bar like these two right here. So I would cross these out. Now the shading is below, so I know it's less than. Well, both of them are less than. This slope says up 1 to the right 2. So if I go here, up 1 to the right 2, put a dot. Up 1 to the right 2, sure enough, that works. My answer is B. Next one. Well, it's a dashed line, so it's not equal to. Well, that doesn't help me. None of them say equal to. If I look at the shading, if I stay on the line and I go up, that's where all the shading is. If I go up, that's greater than. That says less than. Nope. Oh, the other ones of these are greater than. Okay. So now let's look at this idea. My line from left to right is going down. That means my slope is negative. My slope here is positive. Negative and negative. So it's not this one. Now, this is saying that my slope is negative 1/3. Down 1 to the right 3. If I start at the y-intercept and I go down 1 to the right 3, that's not on the line. Well, what about negative 3 over 1? Down 3 to the right 1. Down 3 to the right 1. Down 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. There we go. 1, 2. Can't see my numbers. 1, 2, 3 to the right 1. Yes. So my answer should be C. Next one. If this was your inequality, what type of boundary line would you use? You would use a dashed or a dotted line, however you want to put it, because it doesn't have equal to. Now this one has an equal to, so it would be, it wants to know the boundary line. Since it says equal to, it would be a solid line because it has equal to. This one right here, it is a dashed. The next one down here, it has an equal to, so it is solid. (44). What is the domain? First off, we need to remember domain is the x. Now, it's got to be in between two numbers. This is when we need to box in and figure out what numbers it's between. So let's see here. Make my little box to help me out here. All right, so I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to box it in, my x. Right here. There we go. What is the farthest over here to the left that we're going to go? 1, 2, 3. This x is -3, and it goes all the way over to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Over here to 6. So this one says -3 to 6. This one says -3 to 6. I can cross out B and C. Now, which way are my arrows supposed to go? If I cross this out for a minute, this would say that x is greater than or equal to 6. Well, no, it's everything less than 6. What does this one say? X is less than 6. Okay, so my answer is D. Here's the next one again, talking about my domain. Let's see if I can go back here and use one of these things real quick. And see if I can just copy it. There we go. Oh. Let's see here. All right, there we go. This one again is talking about the domain. Domain is x. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to bring this, I'm going to box it in to help me. You can use your hand. I mean, you're not going to be able to draw. You could draw these little boxes, but you can also use your hand. The farthest to the left, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, -5. All of them have -5. Farthest to the right, 1, 2, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. It goes all the way out to 3. Well, these two do, so it's got to be either A or C. Now again, my arrows, what does this say? It says x is greater than 3? No, they're everything that's less than 3. Your answer should be C. Here's number 45 or 46. Okay, well when Hunter graphs his inequality, he uses a test point of 0, 0 and finds out that it's not on the line and it makes the inequality true. Well, which of the following are these statements true or false? It says he does not need to shade a graph. Oh, that is so false. Because whenever time you have an inequality, you have to shade either the top or the bottom. The next one says you shade the side that contains 0, 0. This is true. Anytime a point makes something true, it's in the shaded area. The next one says he will shade the side of the line that does not contain 0, 0. Nope, that's the part that is not a solution. He needs more information. That is false as well. Here's the next one. Aaron is going to the Rockets game and plans to spend no more than $25, less than or equal to $25. He wants to buy nachos and ice cream. So it says write an inequality to represent the amount of nachos and ice cream he can purchase. We have $4 times the nachos plus $2.50 times the ice cream. Has to be less than or equal to $25. That's all he has. Okay, to be able to answer this, you need to plug these in and see which ones give you less than $25. So you can have $4 times the 3 nachos plus 250 times 4. When you put that in, you're going to get, let's see, 250 times 4 plus 4 times 3. That's $22. That fits the budget. That would work. This one, $4 times $4 times 4 nachos plus 250 times 4. That's 10 and 16. This equals 26. That is not going to work. The next one, $4 times 1 nacho plus, oops, well, you can do it either way, but I'm going to write 250. 250 times 8. Well, 250 times 8 plus $4 is $24. That'd work. We could get that. Might be sick of ice cream. Next one, we have $4 times 6 nachos plus 250 times 2 ice cream. Multiply, that's 24 and 5. That's $29. No, that doesn't work. The next one, $4 times 4 nachos plus 250 times 9. So you have 16 plus 250 times 9. That gives you, whoa, that's a lot, $38.50. That doesn't work. So we could try the next one. $4 times 2 nachos. So you have $8 plus 250 times 5. That gives you $20.50. Sure enough, that would work in our budget.